And welcome back to Ozarks Live. You just saw me out with Rachel West on her turf. Now she's here in the studio on my turf to show us a few things here in the studio. Rachel, it's so great to have you here today. And so tell me exactly what you do.
So I teach people how to eat your yard or your forest. So I'm called a forager, but I like to say that I'm a wild edibles educator. So they could be feral edibles. A lot of our edibles are things that we brought here in early days, whether it was the early Japanese coming over or Europeans. We have a lot of plants that grow in our yards that are just garden escapees, as well as wild foods that the natives have eaten here for thousands of years.
Okay.
And so I help reconnect you with all of the food that we've already gathered, and we already know that's edible. We've just started eating tomatoes out of the supermarket instead.
Now, how long have you been doing this? And you have like a story why you started this, right?
So I've been gathering plants and information on plants for definitely over a decade. I took my first classes. They were all on holistic herbs and out in California. And so when I moved here to the Ozarks, I was just standing out in my yard and I saw St. John's wort and yarrow and all these things that I had been buying at health food stores. And I was like, I'm in Eden. I'm finally here. Like, I don't have to go buy them. They're just growing here. And so I've been foraging full-time for 5 years now.
And I also know you have
your two babies. Yeah, they've been
too.
foraging full-time. I have a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. And both have been foraging since they were
and I got
wearing on my back. So.
Watched your son do it the other day, and it was so sweet. And he knew exactly what he was looking for as he went all over the yard. And I remember you saying he knows not to get it all from one spot, too, but to let some of the plants rest and to kind of move around while he's scavenging and everything.
We ethically forage, and so we, especially if we go into an area that we don't know, we will never take more than 5% of a new plant population. So that we're always encouraging growth. We will go around and we'll only take one leaf off of individual plants instead of removing an entire plant species.
Okay.
We're just really good stewards of the things that we love so that they're there forever for everybody.
Very good. Thank you for that. Yeah, I want to see what you brought today. I'm itching to know what's in those bowls.
What is this?
Okay, so this is an elderberry shrub. So a shrub is one of the oldest forms of not only medicine but a food concoction that there's two different things that they found in the pyramids. One is berries and vinegar, and then there is a honey and a vinegar. So honey and vinegar together is considered as an oxmel whenever it has a plant in it. And so you can use an oxmel for cough medicine or for healing. The same thing with this elderberry shrub. So since it's vinegar based, it's going to help lower our pH. Elderberries, as we know, will boost our immune system. They can help combat people with cancer. They can help fight off the flu. There's a lot of different things that elderberry does, but it's also really delicious. And so we've soaked elderberries that have been dried in a vinegar, and then after about 6 months to a year, I strain them off. This one has aged for a year. I say 6 months to a year because sometimes, depending on how my batches go, sometimes they stay in the jars until I need to make stuff out.
Sure, yeah.
And so this one was aged for about a year, and then I mix it. You can mix it with honey or sugar and turn it into a simple syrup. And so it works as a salad dressing. You can pour it over goat cheese. The chefs at Lindbergh's Tavern were actually using it in a cocktail this last fall. They mixed it with brandy and a seltzer, and this really like an old-fashioned style cocktail, I guess.
What a great idea.
It is a great idea.
Yeah.
Can we try this?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
So you can pour your over there, and you can serve Joy. There's goat cheese on this salad and strawberries, so both work really well with the elderberry shrub.
Here, Joy.
Okay. We'll reach out and grab that, and so I get a little bottle, and I just put on
as much salad dressing as you would like.
Okay. So
Rachel, this is lovely.
Do you have
such a beautiful color
for this to teach people how to?
I work for Springfield Community Gardens, and so we're always doing free classes. I post on Facebook. I have a Facebook page called Once Upon a Weed, as well as a Facebook page called Eating the Ozarks. So Once Upon a Weed is all about showing you a picture of the plant that's in season, and then what you can do with it, or if I have a recipe. And then Eating the Ozarks is where I can hook you up to classes, or there's links to recipes. Facebook gets really lost if I post a recipe. It's hard for you to go back and find it later. So I put on Eating the Ozarks, I have a recipes tab. So this particular shrub, you could just click on recipes and it's just right there.
Okay.
My goal is always to be able to have it where you have access to what's growing right then, and then you know how to use it.
This is so good. And thank you so much for coming on here.
And she's got pictures. If you have something in your yard and you're not sure what it is, don't eat it. But somebody like Rachel can help you figure out if it's safe or not. I love this, Rachel. Thank you.
That's really important to know. Is it safe or is it not? And she'll tell you how to use it for medicine or food. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Coming up, we get to check back in with Tom over at Highland Springs.
This is really good. We're going to see what's making headlines.